Let me show you the before and after of both the presets. So this is the before. And using the techniques that we learned from this video, you can make a preset that sounds something like this. So we are in Addictive Drums, and typically when I go about making presets or drums for my songs, I generally start with like a stock preset and then tweak it. Let's see some presets first. I think the indie pack is pretty decent. Let's browse through some presets and see what you can work with. Oh, it's nice. That's nice. I like this one. So we have this preset, the American Drummer Girl. But before doing anything, let me go to the MIDI mapping. And over here, I go to my preset that I made. It's basically a keyboard preset where I have the kick on the C, the hats on the F sharp, and the snare on the D. If you want the preset, go check the first link from below. So first, I always go to the kick section and see if there are any links over here. As you can see, there's a snare link, and I always unlink any links because I don't like them. Then we go to the FX section and then mute all effects that we have and remove all the sends. Then we go to the master. In the master, I will typically just mute all of it. Now we can go to the edit pane and start editing each of them. First, we'll start with the kick. This is what we have. As you can hear, we have like a typical indie rock type beat. So to make it a bit lo-fi, I will add more lows and cut the highs a bit. For this over here, the mic position, I'll keep it in front. So instantly it becomes more close and natural. Then the main thing over here is to mess with the volume envelope. I typically put the sustain to 0, sus time to 5, and release to 5. Now you have like a small click, and then I increase the decay. Yeah, this sounds really cool. And sometimes if I want, I add like overhead or like a room mic. But for this, I think the overhead is cool, and just I can just EQ this a bit more. Then I think we'll also increase the output for it and reduce the attack. So you can already hear the difference between what you had before and now. And let's see with the pitch. I think around 3 is nice. And also cut the highs. Now we already have like a kick from an indie rock type beat to a lo-fi one. I also love to reduce the width to 0 or even like 25. So it hits on the face. Now if we can go to the snare. As you can hear, it's a bit open, very open rock type stuff. So first I'll remove the shape. This is basically like a transient shaper that we don't need. And instantly you could hear the white noise or the extended attack that was added, it goes away. Then we can also mess with the bottom and top. I think we can keep it around 33% over here. I like it quite a lot. Next thing that you can mess with is the volume envelope. For this, for snares, typically I also put it at minus infinity, 5 and 5, and mess with the decay. Like the difference is insane. Over here in the EQ section, I typically look out my snares to give it a cleaner mix so that when I add like effects later down while I mix the track, it does not clash in with the other elements of the song. As for the room level and overhead level, let's try and see what you can make with it. I think a little bit of room is nice. Over here in the compression, I just kept it what they had. It's like basically a minus 18 threshold with a ratio of 4.12:1, a long attack and a short release. Next, we can go with the hat. We don't need the transient shaper since lo-fi hip hop we don't use like long hat. Okay, now for the hat, you should keep in mind that the volume envelope of the hat also matches with the open hat. So if I play the open hat, but if I don't have the sustain over here, the open hat just stops over there. So we need to have a bit of sustain so that the when you press play the open hat, that also has like a duration for it. For the sus time, I think sustain time we don't need that much. Just gradual and a bit more release. And we can also mess with the decay. Reduce the kick volume. Now for the toms, I tend to like keep it very just like the kicks, like short, attacky, and try to not have the toms at a higher pitch, but keep it at lower and that's similar to the kick, so that when you play the drum loop, like the tom just hits perfectly at the right area. So first, I will have one tom at a -9 semitones. Then take the second tom, do the same thing to it, keep it at or reduce all the sustain and release times. Here we had it at 149, so we'll do that to 149. So this one -9. We'll keep this at -12. And for this one, we're 149, reduce sustain, reduce decay, and put this at -6. So you have like a fill. So when I play the drum loop, I'm not a big fan of the tom that's used, but for this video, let's keep it at what we have. Then we have the flexi stuff that I typically don't touch at all. So for now, this is what the lo-fi drum loop that we have. I think we can add a bit more sustain to this. It sounds really cool, right? Now we have like the bus and the FX section. So basically, all of the components over here go through the bus, and you can adjust the bus amount from here. In the bus section, typically I add like compression distortion so that to tighten the entire drum loop together and make it very cohesive. But then we have some effects. I don't mess with effects inside Addictive Drums. I rather go into FS Studio and mess with those effects. In the master, what I typically do is just add some saturation. It's at max volume because it gives that girth to the snare. Now if I remove it, you can see that it goes like that. So the mid section of the snare loses some body. Now it feels like girthy and nice. And finally in the master section, we can increase the output. So yeah, that's it for now. Let me show you the before and after of both the presets, and you can be the judge on how they sound like. So this is the before. And using the techniques that we learned from this video, you can make a preset that sounds something like this. I hope you have learned something from this. If you're interested in buying some presets that I've made for Addictive Drums, you can check out our pack called the Ultimate Drum Breaks from the link below. It consists of 50 plus drum loops, 20 plus Addictive Drum presets that you can use to level up your lo-fi beats in just seconds. And don't forget to use code DARKWINTER for $10 off your purchase. I'll see you in the next one.